Hey, Shalom, Call Halal, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Chakodash, the one to the apostles of Great Millstone, the Shalom, two brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing. We're finding that number to be delivered. But until then, we want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing till Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai feel the time to seal it up and destroy this place. And likewise for all those who truly trust in the name of Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, may he find you worthy as well. All right. So tonight's lesson is going to be straight from the book of Amos, the 9th chapter. And before I get into it, I just want to set the foundation a little bit, right? So I was thinking about some of the things that, we've been hearing as of late, and something that's being said continually throughout Israel and people who've come into this faith. The slogan or the saying is, Bayath Dawadad, which is in Hebrew, the house of David. Now, that term, it's morally said to men who've come, gone, but some brothers still say it. Some sincere brothers still say it. But I want to point something out concerning the house of David. And we're going to point it out through the scriptures, because it's very important to know that the things that are written, sometimes you gotta sift through. You gotta sift through in order to truly get the understanding of what you're seeking for. All right. So let me jump down to verse. I'm gonna jump down to verse 9 and read down. Let's pick out a few things here. It says, verse 9, it says, "For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel from among all nations." All right. So Amos is telling us what the Lord is going to do. He's going to sift the house of Israel from among all nations. All right. Now, again, that's very important to know, because the Lord is not talking about sifting any other nation. Not one ounce of any other nation. All right. And it says, "Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." Verse 10, "All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us." Verse 11, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." All right. The Lord says he's going to raise up the ruins and build it as in the days of old. Build what? The house of David. All right. Now, we understand about the house of David back in the days of old. Who were they? All right. King David was the king. And who was underneath King David? What type of men were they? Israelites. Mighty men. Okay. So if the Lord said he's going to build it as in the days of old, then where does that put us in this position today? What type of building are we building right now? If the Lord said it was going to be built as in the days of old, that means what? The material that you're using to build this house has to be the same material that was used in the days of old. So the point being made is this: there's not going to be any heathens that's going to constitute the house of David. All right. We are to seek out the hope for the elect of the children of Israel to be brought back into remembrance, as the Lord said he was going to build that house as in the days of old. Okay. So when men profess they're here for the building and the construction of the house of David, but then profess that all these other nations can be swept, can be slipped in there, then that's going to give the house of David a ill effect, if you will. Let me read 11 again. Let me read it again. It says, and in that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. Right? Because, when we went into captivity and all the captivities we went into, we've lost our might. We lost our status. We lost everything about us that made us those people whom the world had feared. All right? But now that the Lord is gathering from the four winds of the earth, okay? Now that he's gathering, what is he doing? He's raising up that tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the servants that he has on the highways and byways, these men aren't going to be brought into this fold, okay, into this tabernacle, unless the Lord has set up teachers to go out and give that calling. Okay? And likewise, when the Lord told his disciples and the apostles to go out into the houses of Israel, we are on the same stead. We are under that same command, going out and reaching out to the house of Israel. And this is why it's important to understand the reason why we have the sign. The reason why we have the sign. And then with the sign, the Lord gave us tools. Certain type of questions we can ask. We can extrapolate certain type of, ideas we can, put out there. And, so what's up with this? Where's your father from? Or, what part of the land do you, it's those tools that we have been given the authority to use when it comes time to sift in some of the children of Israel to bring them back into the fold. You see? But if one professes they're here and they're giving praises and blessings to the house of David, well, your mission to build the house of David is to what? As the Lord commanded, get out there and build it for the Lord as in the days of old, meaning teaching out there, reaching out to the Israelites, asking where your father's from. Do you see yourself on that sign? That's what's going to make a pure, clean foundation. Lord ain't looking to water this thing down, man. He's not looking to water it down. Okay? Now, when you get to verse 12, it says, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Now, again, understanding how you have to sift through, when I was a kid, my father would always go fishing. Him and the boys would go fishing. And they come home, clean the fish up and, throw the fish in the pan. And the shit smells so good. It smelled so good, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on the fish. But I had to be careful because they didn't debone the fish. You see? So I just couldn't run in there and gobble down the fish because I would have choked on the bones. Sometimes when you're in this ministry and you're wheeling and dealing, sometimes you got to take a little bite and kind of work your way around. Work your way around like you eating that piece of fish with them bones in it. Suck that meat off and discard the pieces you don't need. All right? Likewise, when you read verse 12, all right? This is a verse that has been put together by the so-called biblical scholars, if you will, to do just that, to give you a sense of misunderstanding. Okay? Now, you have to do your homework. Don't just rest upon what we say. Do your homework. And you're going to come to the conclusion that, well, wait a minute. This isn't talking about that the heathen is going to be, grafted in. It's not talking about that. We're going to possess all these things. We're going to possess the land. We're going to possess these other nations, and they're going to be underneath us. Okay? But when they throw them bones in there, and if you ain't tactful and skillful at removing those bones and chewing around those bones, you're going to get caught out there and just believe it. Oh yeah, you see, there it goes. The heathen. All right? Now, that point has been made, if you're about the rebuilding of the house of David of old, you have to understand the Lord is not looking for every other nation to be a part of the house of David. He's looking for the nation of Israel, the Israelites, bringing it back from the old time. All right? So let me go from there. Let me go here. Let me jump over to Isaiah 45. All right? Now, Isaiah makes mention concerning the house of Israel. All right? And this is just going to be another solidification that it's all about the house of Israel. It's all about the Israelites. All right? So Isaiah 45 and 17, it says, "But Israel shall be saved in the Lord." Israel shall be saved in the Lord. All right? So the sentiment was the same then, and it's the same sentiment right now. And it says, "With an everlasting salvation, ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end." All right? So in other words, when the Lord sets us up, it's going to be a forever rulership. All right? World without end. There's not going to be any ending to our rulership. There's not going to be any ending to our leadership. There's not going to be any ending with our unification back to the power. All right? So I bring this out for a particular reason, because Isaiah expressed it. All right? He said, world without end. Israel's going to be saved in the Lord. So let's go from there and let's jump down to the book of Ephesians, the 3rd chapter. All right? Now, this is the Apostle Paul talking to the Ephesians. Again, the Apostle Paul when you read the book of Ephesians, there's so many things that Paul says that relates to things that were said by the men of old concerning Israel. All right? So let's read this one as well. It says, "Unto him be glory in the church by Yahushua throughout all ages, world without end. Amen." Okay? So the Apostle Paul is talking to the men of Ephesus in the book of Ephesians, okay? And he's making it clear. These men are also Israelites, because the statement is being made, world without end. All right? This phrase was dedicated to the children of Israel. There's no other nation in the scriptures that the phrase world without end has been dedicated to. No other nation. All right? So the Apostle Paul understood exactly who he was talking to and what his mission was. All right? Now, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to jump down to verse 6. Right? Verse 6. I'm going to end it with this one here. Verse 6. It says that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs and of the same body and partakers of his promise in Yahushua by the gospel. Now, we understand about the promise. Okay, we understand about being fellow heirs. All right, when you even in the basis form of understanding what an heir is, how the family lineage comes into play. You can't give a fellowship, an heir fellowship, to someone outside of your family in that fashion. Okay? So Paul made that abundantly clear, because Paul also understood and knew that he was talking to the children of Israel. You can't, for you younger brothers who are coming in, you have to be patient, and you have to pray that the Lord give you understanding and help you understand this. Sometimes men get caught up in their own thoughts and thought process and run with it, you know? And again, the English language is a bastard language anyway. So you got to dig into the Hebrew. You got to dig into the Greek to get true understanding of what you're reading. Okay? If somebody's going to be fellow heirs, as it is written in the book of Romans, all right, we are those people. The Israelites are going to be fellow heirs with Yahweh Shai. All right, so this is just a quick one I want to get out. Going back to, the house of David. The house of David is not going to be constructed of heathens that people may feel right in this time period are going to be, delivered and grafted in and so on and so forth. And even the term being grafted, okay? You got to be grafted from the same stock. You can't, decide you're going to take a birch tree and graft it to the olive tree. It's not going to happen that way. But these are all the little things that, sometimes men overlook because they get so caught up in their thought process. And that thought process kind of brings them down that wild, I call it that wild rabbit hole. Okay? But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, pray for understanding. You younger brothers who are coming in, and brothers who are, who may have a little difficulty, comprehending, pray for understanding, man. And may the Lord give it you. But all that being said, the house of David that's being built up, all right, like the house of old, is all constituting of the children of Israel. So when you're out there on the highways and byways, and the spirit is, rolling, and you brothers is breaking things down, men are coming up, all right, that sign plays a major part of the reconstructing of the house of Israel. All right. So Lord willing, it was a little bit of edification that was brought out of this tonight. And I'll see y'all brothers in another one. I say shalom.